Hey Tim, just for the record, my shirt says, "Love sees no color, racism hurts everybody." That's a shirt that I got in Hollywood back in '91. That really dates me, huh? In most cases, your videos, I can usually predict what your video response has to do with, but this time I must admit I was not even expecting the video that you were replying to. I saw your video and I watched it, and then I went to the one that you were replying to, and I was blown away. I mean, it's, to say the least. I want to commend you for the way that you handled it. I don't know if I would have been able to be so tactful. I can't believe that this kind of attitude even exists these days. When in a time when a white girl can appreciate Martin Luther King's words more than somebody who is African American, it blows my mind. I have a 3.5-year-old daughter, and she goes to a daycare, and the fact that there's other races there, there's other nationalities there, and she not even once has asked me about why somebody's skin's darker than hers, or why her best friend's Asian and and looks different. It doesn't even come up, Thank goodness, and it reflects my attitude, and it's that when people can be that close-minded and that hateful, it bothers me, To quote Martin Luther King, let me see where to go. He, not once in his "I Have a Dream" speech does he say African. He says Negro. That's a word you don't hear anymore. He even said, "But there is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to a distrust of all white people, for many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny, and they have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom." But that meant nothing. I don't understand why people overlook that and take his words out of context and to suit their needs. I don't understand that. There's a project called the Face to Face Project that I think might be of interest to you. I actually found it in March, and I guess they just had a book that came out. I'll read to you. I'll put a link on the side. It's these two gentlemen. Okay, they said, "When we first met in 2005, we decided to go together to the Middle East to figure out why Palestinians and Israelis couldn't find a way to get along together. We then traveled across the Israeli and Palestinian cities without speaking much, just looking to this world with amazement. This holy place for Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. This tiny area where you can see mountains, sea, desert, and lakes. Love and hate, hope and despair embedded together. After a week, we had a conclusion with the same words. These people look the same. They speak almost the same language, like twin brothers raised in different families. A religious covered woman has her twin sister on the other side. A farmer, a taxi driver, a teacher has his twin brother in front of him, and he is endlessly fighting with him. It is obvious, but they don't see that. We must put them face to face. They will realize. We want that at last. Everyone laughs and thinks when he sees the portrait of the other and his own portrait. The Face-to-Face Project is to make portraits of Palestinians and Israelis doing the same job and post them face-to-face, in huge formats, in unavoidable places, on the Israeli and the Palestinian sides." They did that in March. "In a very sensitive context, we need to be clear. We are in favor of a solution for which the countries, Israel and Palestine, would live peacefully within safe and internationally recognized borders." They say, "We hope that this project will contribute to a better understanding between Israelis and Palestinians." And I'll put a link on the side. I guess the book just came out in June. And I think in September there's going to be a documentary. So I'll put a link to that. I think it's a time when America needs to come together. I don't know. I've been doing some research on the whole thing about 9/11, and Now is not the time to divide our country. You know, already the rest of the world is already looking poorly on us, and you know, let the past go. I mean, what was the Civil War for? You know, but people didn't die there for you know, African Americans to be free. I mean, come on. Ugh, this bugs me. You know, now is not the time to have this kind of attitude, and I'm just amazed that it even exists. You know, in this day and age. It really bothers me. But anyhow, thank you, Tam, for setting a good example. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.